Hey guys, so it's been about a year, well, a little more than a year since I've owned my 2007 Toyota 4Runner V8 4th gen, and I've actually really loved it. As you can see here, my fog lights are, well, not my fogs, but my Baja designs are a little crooked down, so I definitely need to tighten those. But with all that to say, I've made a lot of changes since I've done this. I think the last video that I posted on my 4Runner, I was testing out the factory replacement Bilstein 5100s, and I absolutely adored them at the time. And so I'll kind of go back into what I think about it now, but primarily kind of like this is a 1-year review of my 4th gen 4Runner. And so far, it's been actually one of my, if not one or maybe my favorite car. I think this 4th gen 4Runner platform is gotta be one of the best. Best for daily use, best for off-roading, best for just for work, and everything that you need it to do, and to do it comfortably. Now, it's not a Land Cruiser or a Tacoma, where a Tacoma has a bed and the Land Cruiser is just more super niche in getting you even more places, or especially specifically like the 80 series. But this one will pretty much do anything that you want it to do, in terms of getting you to probably 95% of the trails that you need to go. Now, keep in mind that it is live axle in the rear, and then you got A-arms in the front, which is your independent front suspension, which kind of, you get the best of both worlds of having the articulation in the back, but then in the front, where it makes it really feel comfortable when you're doing on-road driving. But articulate enough because of the A-arms, the upper and lower control arms, to be able to get you to most places, which is super nice. One thing I did wish that the 4th gens had was the rear locker. I think they came in the that one edition in the 4th gen, I forgot what it's called, but it came with a V6. So I opted out for a V8, found myself the V8 that came in the 100 series Land Cruiser, as well as the 1st gen Sequoia and 1st gen Tundra. And man, that motor, this motor, the V8, the 4.7 2UZ, although it has a few issues, like my my exhaust manifolds are definitely leaking. I'm not throwing a check engine code. I probably should replace that, and I'm sure I will here soon. But for the most part, no issues. So yeah, and I bought it with 311,000 miles. We're at 333,000. Come over here. So probably one of the things I first fixed on it was the CV axles. If you go down here, I put right there 5th gen CV axles, and then you can see the Bilstein 5100s. That was leaking and slinging grease all around, so I replaced those as soon as I could. 5th gens fit great. And then I also, oh, cool little rock. I thought it was a heart rock. But here you can see my skid plate is a little shifted. The previous owner stripped them, so I gotta fix those eventually. So I'm just running a weird nut and stud setup there. But yeah, that's pretty much everything that I've replaced on the car outside of the timing belt. I did the timing belt too, and since then, and some of the hoses that are associated with that, after replacing those, this car has been pretty much like no issues at all. Something I do want to show is, if you come around here, I did have to make some slight modifications to get these wheels set up because of the my brake caliper, what is aftermarket. On the driver's side, it is not, and so it was rubbing on the wheel, so I had to make some some adjustments there. But from there, I really haven't had any issues with the vehicle. I also replaced the weather stripping here, and then I don't know, I replaced the I got newer tires, and I love the Sport Edition wheels, because they're still 17-inch, made from Japan, factory. I think, it was cheap, and somebody was getting rid of them. I figured factory's better than getting something made aftermarket, made in China. I just don't think it's the same kind of spec as what you would get from Toyota, so I opted out for these wheels, and I think they look awesome. I did get some limited wheels that are 17 or 18 inch. For the use, I felt like I got way more option with the 17-inch rim from Toyota versus the 18-inch. I just feel like you have a lot more to choose from, and so I opted out with these. And then my tire size is 265 70 17s on a factory replaced Bilstein 5100s, and honestly, I've kind of gone everywhere where I need to be. And I've taken it to Moab. This is my second trip going up to northern Utah, or northeast of Utah, and I'm gonna do the same exact trails that I did on my Land Cruiser, except for probably fins and things. And because I don't know, I care more about the destination now more than the articulation of the off-road, so fins and things doesn't really matter too much for me, and the crazy obstacles, I'm not really trying to test my vehicle. I'm trying to keep it for longevity, and if that's what you're looking for, maybe a 4runner would be a good option, a fifth, fourth, or third, or even the first two, and the most recent. That's why people love these. I think overall it does what you need it to do. Now for the more specific use case for rock crawling, great to have an 80 series, or if you're overlanding, yeah, great to have a 100 series with the same 2UZ. You get a little more space for more activities in the back. But yeah, it is a little small. I did like kind of notice that, and that's why we compensated by putting the rooftop carrier on here, and sometimes I'll even rock a rear hitch carrier in the back. But for the most part, honestly, the 4runner pretty much is the best, like, daily driver. And if you don't do too much off-roading to go sightseeing, this will do it for you. I think it's kind of overglorified to have the very best vehicles, because you're going to get way less miles per gallon, and with more components that are more unique, especially in the Land Cruiser segment. There's just more stuff to break. So your typical, and this is coming from an 80 series owner, and I currently have an 80 series, is the parts are more complex on a Land Cruiser, and that's why they call it the Land Cruiser. It's just built different. With that is, you have the great capabilities of having that vehicle last very long, but once you reach the age where you got to start replacing stuff, that's where it really gets expensive. Like, you're replacing bushings, you're replacing tie rod ends, you're replacing every single hose, because there's also a rear heater hose, rear heater for that vehicle, which makes it complicated. The 4runner doesn't have as much of that complication, as you would with a Land Cruiser, and I think that's what kind of makes it, everyone's favorite vehicle, because for the most part, they don't need the specifications and the capabilities of a Land Cruiser. They want something more from a 4runner. Even Tacomas. That's why Tacomas are really sought after, because they're pretty much simple to fix. There's a lot of them, which makes getting parts very accessible, and then it's not overly complicated. So maintenance is just a lot less. You change the oil, you change the you change the transmission fluid, and you just do the basic stuff, and you can get by. And that's what's made me really appreciate owning a 4runner. On top of that, it's the V8. It's just the way that it rumbles. It's just different from the V6. I had a second-gen Tacoma, a late second-gen Tacoma, and being able to just cruise up mountain passes, it's just so convenient. I just feel like it's it's the V6 is a little bit more gutless. I know it's different case for the 5th gen 4runner, but yeah, I mean, for now, I'm gonna keep the V8 as long as I can. It's got 333, so we'll see how far it takes us. But yeah, so oh, and then another upgrade, you know, since I've gotten it, obviously the Baja Design Squadron Pros, and then my Wii Boost. We'll see how well the Wii Boost works. I love my Baja Designs. And the way I cut it too, I try to keep it as factory as possible because I'm really not even trying to, you know, modify this vehicle. I'm just trying to keep it like as factory as possible because that's the build that I'm going for. I wouldn't even call it build. I think it's more just like, hey, putting on things that you need, you know, just to make it more daily friendly and off-road friendly. So yeah, well, hope you like it. It's impressed me so far, the things that this could take. I think it's definitely more comfortable than the Tacoma too, because you don't have that light bed in the back. So I feel like the SUV platform and just being able to sleep in the back of this is convenient. Now, if you have, you know, a bigger family, I see why people love the Sequoias and the Land Cruisers, because you do need to fit more. But for my needs, this does me, you know, all that I need it to do, and it's comfortable, convenient. Could toss my surfboard in the back because you could roll down the rear window. And then, yeah, so let me know what you guys think. Till next time.